Hello, Sagittarius. This is your love read. I'm actually switching up the decks a little bit. For the main read, I'm using the Energy Oracle cards by Sandra Ann Taylor, which usually use a tarot deck, but for some reason it just seems what I'm going to do. For the supportive or advice cards that I pull out as needed, the Angel Answers Oracle cards by Dorian Virtue and Radley Valentine. I haven't used these, well, I've been using them personally for a little while, but I haven't used them in readings for a while. And they're a fresh view, so let's see what we get with this. Sometimes they're a little blunt too, I've noticed. So let's see if the energy's a little different. Oh, I didn't even shuffle these. Ha ha ha. Hold on. I was like, that doesn't seem to make sense. There's an interesting card here popping out for your partner. Although things seem to be going well, but there's one card that makes me wonder. So I'm just going to get some clarification on that. Alright. This does fit. Helps if you shuffle the cards, they say. Where you're starting off, a lot of times this is where I start. There's a weird smudge on my card. Where you're standing, what's holding things back is you're worried that things are going to go terribly awry. And where your partner is standing, they think they have big ideas for money. I'm feeling like a lot of you, this has to do with something with the house. Could be moving or selling. Big ideas about like a big sale in some sense, or somehow that they're going to come across some money, or they're going to improve the financial situation. They have big ideas. They have big ideas, and you're thinking this is going to fail miserably. Ironically, these positions are what's holding the situation back. Sounds like they're way too optimistic, which is kind of being balanced out by you being like, oh my god, this is going to destroy us. So it's like night and day going on here. I feel like it's not, I feel like you're kind of in the right track, but it's not like this devastating. Like you see that storm that was looking quite nasty. And I feel like your partner's kind of right, there's some money to be made, but not nearly as much as they think. So I feel like that's where we're starting off. That's where the problems are starting, it seems. Well, I guess you could say the situation itself is where the problem is starting, but this is where I feel like the conflict is beginning. The way they feel, the way you feel. Now, one of the reasons you're kind of unhappy about your partner's overly optimistic view on finances is because as far as you're concerned, well, actually, I feel like you're more on the level with this. There's some money there, but not enough to do what they want. And you're thinking that going forward with what they want is going to really put a dent in the bank here. And if you can see this financial constraints, there's some stuff in there if you can see. There is some things in there. Not that much to do grand things. There's a book and there's a couple coins. But you'll also notice the other side of the safe or cabinet, whatever it might be, is kind of closed and you can't see what's on the other side. I feel like you might have some hidden resources. And I feel like you don't want those hidden resources to be damaged, so you might be holding that back a bit. This situation, I feel like it's like the thinking man. I have to say, I'm feeling money. I'm not seeing really money cards here, but I am feeling like this is mostly about money because of the jewel that the thinking man has in his hand here, and then the financial constraints. Actually, that is a money card if you think about it. The anxiety right after, I feel like you're really not happy I feel like your partner's trying to push this forward, and you're really not happy about this. You're worried that this is just really going to go bad. This is going to cause a lot of upheaval. I feel like you're thinking the repercussions for this could devastate the situation. I feel like you're really worried. I don't think you need to be as worried as you are. There is a degree of truth to what you're feeling, definitely, but I'm not getting the catastrophe that it seems like it's coming off this card. This card right here, to you it's a catastrophe waiting to happen. I do feel like it's a storm, but not that bad. I don't know if that's coming through it, because I feel like you're really getting worked up about it. The advice here is to get help from others, to bounce this off of people you know. I'm getting for some of you like a family member, maybe a father figure, somebody who you're comfortable with, somebody who you feel is good with finances, which could be for some people, because I know a friend of mine, his mom comes to him. But I also know somebody who's good with money. The money, it seems to be like there's a little vortex here. I feel like I'm being pulled into it. I feel like you're really getting upset about it. So talking with somebody about that might help you see it from a different perspective, but I also feel like you're going to set up safeguards because you feel this is going nuts. And again, I'm getting this safe here with one door closed. I feel like you have other resources, or you're going to set up things to make sure things are going to be okay. You're going to keep them private from your partner, I think, because you're thinking that's the better idea right now. So while all this is going on with you, because I feel like this is mostly internal and you may be talking to other people's really, what we have going on the other side here, your partner is really feeling like this is the way to go. When I get the sacral chakra with him, her, don't get caught up in the gender, just happens to be the thinking man on that side. But when that came through, they feel like this is the way to go. They are completely confident, overly confident, I'm kind of feeling, that this is going to work out. This is exactly what needs to be done. They're trying to go forward full board. I am noticing, though, with adjacent possibilities as the next card, I feel like the way they're looking at the situation, they're like, if it doesn't go the way I originally planned, I have other ways to make this work out. So I feel like for example, if they're selling the house and they have a certain way they think they're going to sell it, a certain person or some business is going to buy it because they want to expand, something like that. If that's where they're starting out, they have other avenues in case that falls through. So I do feel like they're not putting all their eggs in one basket, but I do also feel like the way they're originally going, I'm not seeing that really being the way it pans out. One of the other avenues, it looks like it does, but it's not as much. It's not as much of a payoff as they originally thought. Okay. So I feel like you're catching into this where they're way over too optimistic about what they think is going to happen, but I don't feel like they're letting you know that they have other avenues to go because they don't want to go these other avenues, so they're not even bringing them up, but they do have other possibilities to make this work out. It's just not as much or not as lucrative, so they're not really interested in them. But if the main situation doesn't pan out, they do have other ways to go, which I feel like it's going to go one of the other ways. I don't think it's going to go directly the way they think it is, and I feel like you're aware of that. And it seems to be a big part of the problem here. They have a beeline attitude about where this is going to go and getting this big payoff, and you're looking at it like that's not going to work. And you know I feel like you know, and you're right, that it's not going to really work out. But what you don't know, what they're not telling you, they have other side ways to work this out. So this That's why they're very optimistic. It's because they have other ways to make sure this works out one way or another. They just don't want these other possibilities because they're not as good. But they're not sharing that with you because they don't want you steering them in those directions. So they're not telling you about those. So it might be a communication thing here. Okay, so I'm also getting that as this is going forward, this is a possibility. One of the reasons you have anxiety is because this doesn't have to happen. But your partner seems very hell-bent on doing it. So you're just not sure how you're going to get them to stop or if you can derail the train because you would like to. But that's one of the reasons I feel like there's a lot of stress here. Especially, well, on your side there's a lot of stress because it doesn't have to happen and you're trying to find ways to stop this from going forward because you don't want it to go forward. Okay. That being said, when the first chakra comes up for you where you're standing, this is a very primal survival instinct. You feel like the base, what do I want to say here? The foundation of where you're standing is being threatened. You're feeling this could crumble the house. Like somebody's damaging the cellar and the house could fall in on itself. Like you're feeling, that's how you're feeling. Like this could destroy the situation. You're not happy about this. Which I've said probably 50,000 times. 50,000 times. I keep like getting some type of speech impediment today. I don't know what that's about. You're trying to defend the situation and trying to keep it from imploding, but you're very much in survival mode. That's what I'm getting with this. Now that being said, something's going on with your partner. Because while they're pushing forward and they want to do this, I don't see it like coming to fruition, at least not during this time frame. Because while you're very much in survival mode, they seem to be just holding off. Rest and rejuvenation, I feel like they're going over things and they're thinking them through. And at some point in the future, I feel like when those adjacent possibilities start to show up as more of the actual outcome rather than the original goal, when that happens, they slow down a bit and they start thinking about this. I feel like they're putting forth a very valiant, go for it, let's get it done, let's do it effort, but I am noticing two things. If I can pick up these cards. What helps the situation now, first they slow down and they start thinking. So this might take a while, this card, to really settle in. Because what comes next, it feels like it's not easily brought forward and they don't want to do this. But I feel like they keep going forward. The deceit card, I feel like, is because they're telling you they're still going forward with it. That they haven't changed their mind, they're still on course. But what's happening is I feel like they're starting to reconsider. I feel like they don't want to admit that you were right. I feel like they're trying to find a way like something, like I feel like they're wearing a false front. Like I feel like they're upset that it's really not going to work out the way they wanted to. The payoff isn't really that big. They can still do it. They do have these adjacent possibilities, but they don't seem to want it as much now. So I feel like they're starting to reconsider, but they don't. I feel like they're very aggravated about it. And they might be, I feel like they're kind of hiding that from you. Now, interestingly enough, in the spiritual sense, your partner does have the Sun card. But what I'm really getting from this card is that this is going to work out one way or another. And I feel like the reason it's going to work out is because I do think that they're going to reconsider at the end. but they learned something from this. I feel like this is kind of getting them into some type of arena, or things are changing. Information and ideas came to them during this time frame, so they grew a little bit, and there's other things they're going to do, but I feel like they've gotten a much more realistic perspective. And they have ideas for the future, but I feel like they're changing. Things are changing. They have ideas about where they want to go, what they want to do. And even though at the end here it seems like they're a little disgruntled and not happy because they have to reconsider, this is a big blessing for them because it's showing them doorways for them to get what they want. They just got to adjust the plan a bit. But I feel like they're coming back into focus to more of the reality of the situation. And the Sun card is helping them. It's like showing them like really like what path would actually get them where they want to go. The sun seems to be illuminating. It's almost like a beam of light, kind of like this is the way you need to go if you want this outcome. And I feel like that's why the Sun card is here on their side. Like if you really want this, the way you're going now, that path is a bit shady and dark. You're not really going to make it. But if you want this, this is the way. And be it work, a lot of work or not a lot of work, things have to be changed. Something has to be changed. And they're going to see that. So it's like illuminating. The sun is illuminating how they can get what they want to get. Okay. You, on the other hand, you got two cards in your spiritual sense. You got the Magician in the Mirror, and the Mirror, and you got the Journey card. I feel like you're ready for this change. But you're also, I feel like you're a co-creator in this. And that's one of the things I feel like your partner has to realize and is coming around to. And maybe is having a hard time with this. They want to be able to do it on their own for some reason. But they need you as excited as they are. If you're not into it, then it's not going to work. Like that's like you're a great sounding board for that. The Magician in the Mirror makes me feel like you can make great things happen with this situation. But the other person has to realize that you're that mirror. You're showing them the truth about what's going on. You can help them make it happen because you are the magician. But you're also the mirror, which means they have to pay attention to what they're looking at because you're showing them the truth of the situation, and they have to be in line with you. I feel like that's what they're having a hard time with. They want it to be the way they think it is, not the way it really is. And you are showing them the truth. Once this is in line, because this is like over that, the Magician in the Mirror is over the Journey card here. Once this is in line, and your partner is paying attention to you and seeing the value that you're bringing to this situation and how much they need you, because they do need you for this situation, then you're all a go. I feel like everything changes. Once you're both on the same page and they're valuing you and they're listening to you, you're feeling a lot more comfortable. The anxiety seems to calm down greatly because you feel like there's a lot more control here. I feel at that point, you have a lot of support around you to go to the next stage. And things are getting a lot better. It does say the situation will improve. I'm kind of feeling like at this point when that comes around, like this is saying that point is going to come around. It improves because you're ready. It improves because your partner's listening to you. It improves because you're an active participant and they need you. They need you if they want this to truly work out, they need you. And I feel like they're not honoring that connection in the beginning here. They seem to be going off on their own, a little wild, a little rogue, if you will. But it then comes back around. They're like, oh, well. I feel like they're a little, I don't know, they wanted to believe they can do it on their own for whatever reason. But when it comes back and they realize they really can't, things have to change, and the sun is illuminating the path to get there, you are definitely on that path. You're a part of that path. Like, you want that path? Here's the path. But you know what? You're going to need your partner to do it. And your partner's like the guide. Like, you're the partner in this sense. The sun is illuminating this to your other half and telling your other half that your partner, you, is the guide down this path. So if you want to get down this path successfully and you want this, you better work with your partner. I hope that wasn't confusing at the end. Because the whole thing about it is they have to honor you and get together with you. They'll see the path to get there, but they need you to get down the path. They can't get down the path without you. All right. So this is relationships. All right. I like these cards. It's a different perspective. It feels like a fresh perspective, I have to be honest with you. All right. Now let's do Sagittarius singles. I'm going to want those cards again, aren't I? So keep those here. This time I'll remember to shuffle them. Alright, Sagittarius singles. Sagittarius singles. Sagittarius singles. We may have one after. I don't think. No? Yes? No? Maybe one card. I bust these cards in the bottom of the. What I'm seeing here is it seems really good. I don't feel like there's anything bad, but there might be a little, like, less than. Alright, we're going to keep those like that. Okay, now, where you're standing, you have your eye on somebody. You're ready to go into this new phase, and you're thinking this person you're interested in is also on the same page. Or do you? Hold on. Is this a repeat? This is something coming around again. How is this coming around again? Now, when I say coming around again, there was an opportunity in the past that either you weren't both in the right place or you were getting close to asking this person out or something along those lines, and then they ended up going out with somebody else and it just didn't happen. I feel like there was an opportunity in the past that just didn't pan out for whatever reason. But with this second card here, it's the sacral chakra. Sacral? Second chakra. I want to say it's the sacral chakra. Second chakra, angel, Ariel, whatever. I want to say it's the sacral chakra. Now, interestingly enough, I'm kind of feeling like you've been having a fire burning for this person for a while. You've been kind of thinking about them. They just kind of either come in and out of your thoughts every now and then, or maybe you've been holding that torch a little brighter than I'm aware of. These are very loving feelings, though. The sacral chakra is a very home feeling, a very loving. To me, it's a very secure feeling. And but when I'm seeing this card, I'm feeling like you've been kind of carrying a torch for this person. That's kind of what I'm really feeling. Which kind of goes along with that chakra. Now, the overall energy is the yin yang card, which is passion and presence. I don't understand how that works together. So it's like the fire and the moon. It's like the feminine and the masculine. It's like I feel like each side is kind of reflecting partly what the other side wants. You've been having these feelings, but you have been getting a minimal amount, but some feedback that the other person is at least has considered it, if they're not already on the same page. But while they're apprehensive, there's some times that you are maybe a little aloof yourself. I have to be honest, it kind of feels like the hot-cold situation here. Like when it's good, it's great. When it's bad, it's horrible. It's kind of feeling like that. It's like it's hot-cold. It feels kind of hot-cold to me, this. Like it's either really good or it's just nothing's happening. That's kind of what it's feeling like. So it's like all or nothing. Let's keep going because that card will probably come back in and give more information. Where you're starting here, it says appreciation, but I'm noticing this lady has a rose. It looks like a rose. It's a pink rose. And I feel like she's offering that to someone. I feel like you're offering this. I feel like you're making that declaration to this person that you've been thinking about. Opportunity is there, and you just decided you're not going to delay anymore. Victory card right after it. Other person reciprocates that feeling. What comes in your future is the door to romance. So, seems like everything is going well. The bird is let out of the cage. This is a very interesting, this picture is, I always find it very interesting because I don't know if you're going to be able to see it. But there's really no door there. You can't really tell if the heart's on the inside or the outside. But there's hearts flying all over the place. And the door is opening. So it's almost like you got to go and get the heart out of the cage. So I feel like while the victory happens originally, you still have to work to actually make this a relationship. You have to kind of, it's like you're going, it's like the start has been acknowledged and it's going the way you want. Whether you ask this person out on a date or whatever it is, it went the way you wanted it to. But as you go forward, you're working to make it a relationship. So that's what you're going forward to try to make happen. I'm getting the yin-yang feel again here, though. I feel like especially this future part, like things are going to balance out. Certain things need to balance out. I feel like it's like, I really feel like it's hot and cold. It's really feeling that way to me. To where it's like when you're together, it's great, and there's a lot of passion and energy. But when you're not, I feel like, for example, if you're one who texts, when you're not together, the texts don't come that much. Or there's not a lot of communication or something. It's like, but when you're together, everything is great, and there's a lot of passion. But when you're not together, it just seems to be like there's not a lot of communication or there's not a lot happening. It seems like hot and cold. I'm feeling very hot and cold with this. I feel like there's misunderstandings here too about where the other person is. It seems like they might be a little confused about where you are as well. They might be wondering like where your intentions are, what you really want. So I feel like they're trying to be a little bit more conservative with their responses, but they might come off completely aloof and cold. I'm not feeling like this is bad overall. I just feel like the way the communication is hitting between the two of you, it's just, there's misunderstandings. That being said, the door to romance seems like there's a lot of time on the threshold, and it might be a longer time on the threshold instead of walking right in than expected. I feel like you thought this might have gone a little quicker, but it seems like it's going to, due to these misunderstandings, it's going to kind of drag out a while. Because I feel like you're both realizing you need to know each other a little better. Because going on to this next level, it seems to be changing things. Going into it, I feel like you feel like you know this person pretty well. But when the dating starts happening, there's confusion, and you start to realize, you know what, maybe I didn't know them as well as I thought I did. And there's time. You got patience and you got forgiveness. I feel like it's going to take some time to really get to know each other. the attraction is there, but you need to understand how each of you work. And I feel like you're both realizing, or at least, especially since it's your read, you're starting to realize, maybe I thought this person was one way, but maybe I was romanticizing that a bit. And who they really are compared to who I think they are maybe isn't matching quite as well as I took for granted. Like, I just believed that's how it was, if that makes sense. And it's turning out that's not really how it is. Not that that's a showstopper, but I need to get to know this person a little more to see how that we really match up. The forgiveness card here means, I do feel like there's communication errors, but I feel like it goes both ways. And having this patience with each other, this is kind of making this very, this is going to either make it or break it. Because as you go forward and as you deal with each other, the way this is feeling, if the forgiveness is good and you're just kind of giving the other person and vice versa the benefit of the doubt, I feel like this will go forward well. And this will build a really strong, stable base. It's going to take some time, but it'll work out. There's a lot of value with that. I also feel like this is the part, oddly enough, in your mindset you have indecision, but I feel like this happens in the future near the end. I feel like this card is talking about the end, where you start to wonder, is this what I thought it was, or is this really not what I want? You start to question, who I thought this person is and who they are isn't really the same, and I got to figure out who they are, and I'm not really sure if that's going to match me or not. Which is fine, because you're really getting to know this person at this point. I feel like you were very googly-eyed and very, smitten or taken by this person, and you only saw the good. And now when you're getting to know them a little better, you're getting more into the reality of the person. We all have our good and bad traits. We all do. And you're starting to see more of the truth of who they are. And they're seeing more of the truth of who you are, too. You're getting closer. The question is, when you get closer, is this what you each want in a partner? Or is it just better off left as a friendship? That's where you're going. That's what you're figuring out. Your partner, on the other hand, I feel like they really are into you. They see a lot. They like you a lot. They got blossoming abundance and they got remain positive. I feel like they're worried when things start to stammer a bit. There's a little bit of worry. And I feel like you can kind of reinforce or encourage them to hold on, or kind of just talk it out. You know what, we need to get to know each other better. I know I like you. I know you're a great person. And I feel like you can pump up their positive attributes, and just that you want to get to know them better and that how they need to get to know you better, and to work out this time. Because I feel like this could be a great relationship, but it's going to truly depend on how you work out the misunderstandings. Because at this point, it's truly going to either make it or break it. Because I feel like if you can work this out and you feel comfortable and confident with each other, I feel like there's constantly going to be misunderstandings, but it's not going to be a big deal, and you'll go forward fine. But if it's grating on each other and it's just becomes more of arguments and anything like that, it's just going to compound and get worse as time goes on. And you're going to see this after these misunderstandings happen. You're going to see this at the end here when you get to the indecision part, is this for me or is it not? You're going to see that it's either seems to be calming down, you're understanding, you're giving each other the benefit of the doubt, or you're going the other direction and it's just kind of becoming more combative than anything else. From there, you have to decide what you want. Because I'm very, very well aware some people, they flourish on the combative. I'm not one who does that, but some people, that's how they feel life should be. I don't know why, but that's how it is. And if that's cool for you, then that's cool for you. Other people are going to be like, I don't really want a life like that. I'm gonna put this back to a friendship and move on and find something else. Okay. That's going to wrap this part up. Thank you very much for watching. Of course, if you would like a direct reading from me, shoot me an email at jamesforastral@gmail.com. James, the number 4, astral, @gmail.com. Thank you.